Hello, everybody. Randy Patterson here with Boomerocity. I love turning you guys on to artists you might not have heard of before, largely when they are regional artists. And I want everybody around the world to know about these people. And one such person is Dulcie Taylor. Oh my gosh, what a delight she was to talk to. We had a lot of fun chatting. We had some technical difficulties, so there was a lot of conversation that went on before you hear this audio and or see the video. Um, but we talked about everything. We talked about a new album, of course, and which is called Edges of Silver. And then we also talked about things like the pandemic and Elvis and just music in general. And golly, we had so much fun with it. So you won't get to see her live on there. There was a technical problem with the camera on her end, but I went ahead with the audio. Please listen to it because she is just a delight to talk to and very genteel and very Southern. And I love all that. So please listen to it. And if you don't mind, please like this page, this YouTube channel, or the Boomerocity show on the podcast channel that you're listening, so you can be aware of when we have new ones. And also, if you would, please subscribe on YouTube. That helps us out and it costs you nothing. And also, please share the videos, any of them that you like, with any of your friends, but especially this one here with Dulce Taylor. So that would be greatly appreciated. So without any further ado, here is my first of what I hope is many more interviews to come with the lovely and talented Dulce Taylor. Until next time, this is Randy Patterson with Boomerocity. Take care. Hey there, Dulce. How the heck are you?
I'm fine. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing all right. We're getting through the technical things, and we'll be able to make sure that everybody will get to hear what you're saying. First of all, before we get into talking about your new EP, I wanted to ask you how is the post-pandemic world for you? Have you seen a lot of changes in your world as far as, doing your work, performing, things like that? Have you seen a lot of changes? And do you think that's your new normal, or is this anything new is just temporary?
Well, I think anything new is temporary to a certain extent. I was just at the doctor for my annual checkup and I said, should I get another booster? She said, well, there's a new one coming out next month that doesn't address the variant that first started all the stuff that you don't need anymore. She said, so wait until that and until there and get that one. I think the biggest thing for me is I'm not scared of my groceries anymore. You know, you bring those things in the house, wash the pickle jar, wash the marinara sauce jar. I mean, we even did this thing where I would wash and my husband would dry. In cold water, I'd wash the frozen stuff. You were terrified of your groceries. I thought, boy, this really gets you where you live.
Yeah,
You know,
it does.
And then you would see that stuff from New York made me crazy. The refrigerated trucks on the street.
Yeah.
Oh, listen, Lord help, that was just, you're some poor mother in Brooklyn with two small children, and you can't get to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It was horrifying, wasn't it? That went on for years.
Yep. Well,
Years.
and I think it was different in different parts of the country, even in different parts of each state. I remember.
Oh, yeah. Different parts of each city.
Yeah, true. I know that when the things started lifting, I live in Sevierville, and I drove over for the first big concert was over in Nashville and saw Eric Clapton. And I was expecting all these restrictions. I had my Vax card with me, and I had a mask in case I needed all that. Nobody was wearing masks when I was in Bridgestone Arena, big old.
He didn't believe in that stuff. Did you know that? He didn't believe in vaccines or any of that stuff.
He came out. Clapton.
Harry. Yeah. He came out publicly and said nobody has to show vax stuff or mask to come to my concert. Yeah.
He but Nashville is one of those towns that it's a big blue dot in a big red state.
Yeah, like Austin.
And so exactly, just like Austin. And I just expected to, now here where I live, it was a lot more relaxed, and we weren't as uptight about it. But I go over the mountain over to Knoxville, and I had to wear a mask. I had to show my card to go into concerts there. Go down to Chattanooga, not so much. I mean, it was just I had to show a card, but I didn't have to wear a mask, or maybe it was the other way around. I
I
can't
would
remember.
rather you wear a mask and forget about the card
Yeah,
myself.
yeah, yeah.
Wear a
So,
mask.
but anyway, it was I do think we saw a lot of inconsistencies and a lot of
Yeah.
stuff, but we'll hopefully we've learned from it all and know what to do if God forbid there is another time. What have you seen from performances when you go out to perform? Are you seeing much in the way of differences in how the crowds are, things like that, or what are you noticing there?
Not now. Well, a lot of places in here in the Central Coast, you play outside because
Hmm.
it's very temperate. It never really goes under 50 or over 80, 85, in the southern part of San Luis Obispo County. Now, northern San Luis Obispo County, it gets very hot. It's high desert. I know it was 65 here in Arroyo Grande the other day, and in the same county up the grade, it was 115. Now
Wow.
it's desert and it's dry, but it's still hot. I don't care if it's dry, it's hot.
Yeah.
But playing outside, nobody seems to feel too, you know, and the places I've played inside are very high ceilinged and rather
Mm.
open. There's one place I particularly love to play, but it's small and it's tight and it's crowded, and I just haven't even gone in there.
Mm.
I will at some point because I
Yeah.
love the place, but people seem, I tell you, you'll occasionally see someone serving wearing a mask, and they may have a health issue or they may live with someone who does,
Yeah. Yeah.
they're trying to
Agreed.
protect their loved ones.
Yeah. Well, this new EP of yours, I absolutely love it. What is it?
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
you've had 6 LPs, if I counted correctly, and this makes your third EP. Am I?
EP. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
All right.
Yeah.
So what I love about you and your music is there is a consistency in your music, yet each album, each EP, each single, to me, seems like there's a freshness to it. It doesn't sound like you're mailing it in. It doesn't sound like maybe different versions of other songs you've done. There is just this consistent freshness to your work. And I'm just curious, how do you accomplish that? Because I would think that it's tough for a songwriter, even, there's great ones out there, but there's just a nice even keel to yours. How do you go about accomplishing that?
Well, first of all, let me thank you for saying that. That's a lovely compliment. In fact, I hope I can take that and use that as a quote.
Please do.
I'll, I'll give you credit. I'll have to, get the audio and go through it. You know how people will say, like, well, we went into the studio with, 24 songs and we picked 12. I go into the studio with 12 songs. You know what I'm
Mhm,
saying?
mhm.
Or people say, I wrote 10 songs last weekend. Well, I bet 9 of them weren't very good. And I think you can spread yourself so thin in terms of what you're feeling and what you're thinking and what you're trying to say. And I don't discard stuff if I don't think it's good enough. I put it aside because you can go back later and say, well, that was good. Why didn't I like that? It's how it hits you too. You're a listener too. When you start going through your things, you're a listener. You're not, you are the writer, but you're a listener as well. And I think I don't, I don't try and see how many songs I can write. I just kind of focus on the song itself.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah, I don't,
Well,
I'm not,
sometimes I think a songwriter, I'm not one. I mean, good Lord, I only play air guitar, but I don't.
I bet you're good at it
Oh,
though.
I am a great poser. But I would see for me that I would probably get into a songwriting rut if it were me. That's the reason why when, on the occasions that I do review music, and I have to
Mm.
admit, I don't do so much of it anymore. I'm hoping people will listen to the interview and know about the album and feel compelled to reach out to it. And I'll put, the music videos, if there are any, to it on the page and that kind of thing. But I mean, the thing I won't do is tell people what they should and should not like, because who am I to judge?
Well, that's totally up to the person.
Exactly. And I
You
just
can
say,
say, well,
hey,
I like this, so maybe you will.
yeah. Or I'll say, if you like this person, that person, then you're going to really like this person, that kind of thing. So
That makes sense.
what's the story behind this record? What did, putting it together, maybe pulling songs out from your archive and dusting them off, anything like that? What led you to the point of releasing this EP?
We got 5 songs we recorded that we really liked. That we liked the way they hung together.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds boring, doesn't it? No, we just
Simple
recorded
enough.
simple enough. I know somebody asked me recently in an interview. She said, "Was this EP hard for you?" And I said, "Hard for me." I said, "I'm such a tortured artist." And she started laughing. I don't I don't look at it that way. If I was tortured, I don't think I'd do it.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
tortured about plenty of other stuff. I don't need to put my music in there.
Yeah. No,
Plenty of other stuff to be tortured about.
How long did it take you to put this EP together?
Well, I would say over the course of a year. I mean, you're scooting in and scooting out when somebody's been exposed or somebody hasn't, or somebody's kid's been. You had to find your time and scoot in there and scoot back out. Probably about a year.
Huh.
Backbeat in His Blood was the last thing we recorded.
Well, did you get any bumps on that with this being Elvis week?
I don't know. I don't know. Is it Elvis week? I didn't even
Yeah,
know.
yesterday was the anniversary of his passing.
Of his passing.
Yeah.
I can remember being in the car. My mother loved Elvis. She adored him. Now, she liked Frank and Ellen and all that. She adored Elvis. And that saying when people talk about tears flew out of my eyes? They flew out of her face when they said he had died. I remember it. I mean, I was distraught too, because I loved him. I listened to him so much. In the past, you can get mixed up who's more important, Jesus or Elvis, when you're a little thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're both very important. I still adore him. I just adore him.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that does.
Well, my first concert, Dulcie,
Oh no! Did you see him?
I saw him on Easter Sunday, 1973. I was 13 years old. And believe me, if we were talking about church in our earlier call, can you imagine what I thought was going to be mission impossible, to be able to go see Elvis on an Easter Sunday? My mom was an Elvis fan, and she's passed now, but I've got her 45s that she had when she was a teenager.
Oh, honey, that's something.
Yeah. And so I went to her and I said, Mom, Elvis is coming in town. She goes, yeah, I know. And I said, I'd like to see him. She goes, okay. I said, but it's on a Sunday. And she goes, yes. And I said, it's on Easter Sunday. And I just thought she would say no, and you're in risk of hellfire and all that. And she said, look, she goes, you can go, but you got to buy your own ticket, and you got to go to church Sunday morning and Sunday night, but you can go to the concert in the middle of the day.
Oh, I love your mother.
Yeah, me too. And so while I'm there, get this, I was there 2 hours early. My seats were on the floor. I think I paid like $10 for the seat. And I'm up standing at the stage, and I'm looking at that beautiful black Gibson guitar that he had with his name written in scroll on the neck. And somebody walks up beside me, and it was Colonel Parker.
Oh.
And I asked him 3 questions, three or four questions. And the last one was, can I go backstage and meet Elvis? And he goes, nope. And he turned around and walked away. I say that that was my first celebrity interview, and that my second one didn't happen until 2009. So
Was it good? I mean, do you remember it well? The
yeah,
concert?
well, and believe it or not, I found online, I posted on my Facebook page last night or yesterday afternoon. There's a bootleg of that concert out there.
Oh, honey, my! Tell me, we're probably not friends on Facebook. We should. I need to be friends with you, and I
Yeah,
need to look at. You must post some interesting stuff.
I'd like to think I do, but
Well, if you get if you get to watch that, it will come back to you in just.
now it's
It'll
just the
walk.
audio recording. It's not a
Oh,
video, but it's an audio. But it's pretty darn clear. You know what? I have your email address. I'll send you the link to my to my
Facebook.
personal page, the Facebook page, and that link to the Elvis concert.
Okay, now I have a personal and a band page too.
Okay.
So
I
sent.
think I clicked on your band page already.
Okay, yeah, there's a picture. Well, there's a picture of my head on both of them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'd like to be personal friends too.
Okay, let's do that. I'll email you my links on all of that, and you can click away and we'll be friends. And I promise you I won't bug the heck out of you. You'll see my
Oh, honey,
posts.
I won't bug you either. I'm sure I could be a bug as well.
No, no, not at all. So back on your EP, what were there any surprises that happened when you made it? Was there something that's like, wow, when you went back and listened to it or whatever, it's just like, wow, I wasn't expecting that.
Well, I wasn't expecting that second song. Almost got it right. I wasn't expecting it to turn out as lovely as it did.
Mm-hmm.
I love that talk, talk, talk. George Knopfler said, let's put some kind of clock thing on there at the beginning. He said, and at the end, and I love that. I love that part of it. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a quiet, sensitive little thing. And a lot of people have picked up on it. And I like that people actually will listen to something like that. And it was the first acoustic guitar solo I ever played on one of my records,
Wow.
So that was fun. I enjoyed that.
Were
But
there, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry. No, you go ahead.
I was just going to ask you I learned a long time ago. I say this with every artist that I learned a long time ago that you don't ever ask the favorite song because it's like, asking someone to pick their favorite child. And we're really not supposed to do that. But is there a particular song on this EP that you would point to as a calling card and that says essentially, if you like this song, you're really going to like the rest of the record?
Probably Backbeat in His Blood.
Okay. That makes sense.
Especially if people watch the video. It really comes alive.
Yeah, I agree. That's I like that one. And honestly, I like We Almost Got It Right. I love
okay.
I
Yeah.
like that one too. And I've pointed people to both. I posted your I think I posted, I might have got interrupted. I thought I posted oh gosh, my mind's just going blank all of a sudden. That's terrible. But let me kick back here.
You know what's terrible when you're going through your emails to find something and you see a draft that you never sent and you thought,
oh, you do that too? Oh my gosh.
Yes, I do that too, and it's horrifying. If you get interrupted, you just feel like you wrote it, you sent it. Well, not so fast. You never sent this. I hate that.
Well, Backbeat in the Blood, I do think is one of those special songs. I think the timing of it, like I said a minute ago, was pretty cool. And it doesn't sound like that was intentional, but that is really cool though how you put that all together. So moving forward, what's on your radar for the next few months, or even say for the next year? You got any more records that you're working on, touring, anything like that?
Well, I play a lot here in the Central Coast. I just got back from playing down in LA. That was fun. Just writing and playing gigs. I'm playing the slow concerts in the Plaza here in Slow. It's like the longest running outdoor big festival thing they have. They have a singer-songwriter slot, and then they have a band come up, and I'm playing the singer-songwriter showcase. They make you go on stage by yourself. I love my guitar players, but I'm going to do it because it's a fun day.
Yeah.
That's coming up in a couple of weeks. Just play, write, you know,
Fun. Well, I know
same stuff.
here on the other side of the hill from me over in Gatlinburg, they will, well, I guess they do it here in Pigeon Forge too. I'm in Sevierville. But they'll do the songwriters conferences, and they do a lot of songwriter circles and things like that. And I always enjoy going to those and hearing the stories. I think it'd be cool if you came to one of those and participated in it. And then they do little, peel away type of concerts and such. And the people that put that together, I think it's called the Smoky Mountain Songwriters Festival or something like that. I forget who puts it on. I used to have the contact information, but man, I think it'd be great if you came over here or over to Nashville to do one of those.
That sounds like fun. It's a
It'd,
long way for me, but it sounds like fun.
I think it'd be worth the trip. So
I must tell you, I have not been in an airplane since 1992.
is that right? Wow.
Oh, I don't. My daddy was a pilot, and I was so used to flying with him. And when your daddy's the pilot, it just has a whole different feel to it.
Mhm.
The guy who put the gas in the plane. I just I don't like the big ones very much.
Yeah.
Don't let me talk anymore. I'll make you weird about getting on.
Hey,
Well, I'll just keep that one to myself. I take the train though. I love the train, and I get a room, which is nice because you don't get jet lag. I mean, you do the miles. There's no getting around it. And the neat thing about the train is it goes through parts of towns that you would never go through because you might, for one thing, be scared too.
yeah.
You see a whole different side of America, and of course, you see the beauty too. But it's a pretty cool way to travel.
I've
It
never
really
done
is.
that on an extended drive. I've rolled the train over in Dollywood a time or two, but I haven't done a real cross country train ride
Oh,
before.
honey, it's so worth it, and it's worth it to get the bedroom. It really is. The meals are provided, and it's so funny. I'm a vegan, and one night you'll have like a pasta primavera, and it'll be, some kind of pasta dish with vegetables, and it'll just be wonderful. And then the chef will change. I remember one night I ordered it again, and I'm not lying to you. It was spaghetti with some kind of ketchup like thing and
Ooh,
corn niblets.
ooh, no, that just should
Oh,
be against the law.
it wasn't terrible. I ate it because that was all there was. But it's like must have changed shifts down there in the kitchen. Uh, I've got a friend that's a conductor for the train between here and LA. He tells the funniest stories.
Oh,
He's like the guy in charge on the train.
uh-huh.
He calls it the rolling nut farm.
I bet it is. I bet there is some stories that would be quite hysterical.
He had one guy that was acting real bad. He was scaring people. And he said, "You're going to have to sit down and shut up." And the guy kept on going. He said, "I'll tell you what." He said, "I'll stop this train and I'll put you out in the middle of nowhere and the coyotes will eat you." He said, the guy just looked at him. He said, "You can't do that." He said, "Try." He said he sat back down and shut.
That's
Whatever
funny.
was going on in his mind, that got through to him. I doubt my friend. I don't think he could do that, but he made him think he could. He pulled
Put
his
the
back
fear of
on.
God in them, huh?
He put the fear of the Lord. He was scaring people. He had to do something. And he said about 3 years ago, he really had to wrestle with somebody, and he kind of pulled his back, and he was out of on disability for about 6 months because it really hurt his back.
Wow.
You know, it can be a serious job. Now, I've never seen people act badly like that on the train. All the times I've taken it cross country, and I've never seen anybody act badly like that. But I've heard of it. That it
Yeah.
happened.
Somebody you might ought to meet up with sometime. She's a wonderful lady, a great musician, artist, songwriter. Her name is Carla Olson. She's down in Southern Cal. Her husband's Saul Davis, and he's a Facebook friend of mine. And so maybe when you see him, you guys can connect. But she did a whole train on or a whole album on the Americana train, and And then she did another one, women's Ladies Sing Lightfoot, and that was an album of
Well, I
Gordon
bet that
Lightfoot songs.
was nice.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
great. Carla's a wonderful woman, and so you two might really hit it off pretty good there. And
Now, how you spelling Olsen? Olsen?
no, O-N.
O-N. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. I know it's spelled real.
yeah,
I know the E-N is Scandinavian. I'm sure the O-N must be too.
yeah.
I
Well,
think it is.
how I even learned about her, I was looking for a Rolling Stones song called Winter that was on the Goat's Head Soup album, and I come across a recording of her doing that song with Mick Taylor, who was used to be with the Stones. And
Yeah, he was a guitar player with them.
yeah, and I became an instant fan of hers. It was really cool. And then it was a couple of years later before I wound up interviewing her, and I've interviewed her 2 or 3 times. And like I said, her husband Saul is a Facebook friend of mine, and I just love talking with her. She's a wonderful lady, and I think you might have some fun connecting with her and maybe doing some music together or something. You might
No,
look
they
her
live
up.
in Southern California.
Yeah, yeah, in Southern Cal.
I love it down. I mean, I lived down there a long time. I love Southern California.
But yeah, check her out. Check out her work, and she does all sorts of stuff. And she's done work with Gene Clark and just all sorts of people. Just check her out, and I think you'd really, really love.
Thank you. I'm always looking for something new that I can like, and I'm
Yeah.
sure if you like it that much, it must be wonderful.
I'd like to think so.
I'm sure it is.
Well, one last question for you, and
Okay.
you know what? I hope we get to talk more in the future with every new EP or album you have coming out. Let's make sure we connect and do one of these, and this time with both cameras working. But we will, maybe every other time we talk, I might ask you this question to just kind of gauge where you're at in this frame of thought. And it's not intended to be a morbid or macabre type of question, but it is kind of helps tell people where you're at in the overall scheme of things of thinking. And that is, when you step off the tour bus of life up at the great gig in the sky, to borrow from Pink Floyd, what do you hope your legacy is, and how do you hope you'll be remembered?
By people who don't know me or people who do.
Either way, both.
That I cared about the human condition, that I cared about the other life on the planet, not just people, and that I cared about the planet,
Mhm.
and that I did the best I could to be the best person I could be.
Good,
Not saying I do it every day or achieve it every day, but that I get up every day and try to be that, try
Mhm.
to do that.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, I think you're doing a wonderful job of it. And I have
You'll have to ask my husband about that. He gets to see me day to day.
some days maybe not so much, right? So well,
I didn't sign up for this.
well, Dulcie, this was a lot of fun, and you're a
Me
joy to
too.
talk to. And let's stay in touch. We've got each other's email addresses, and I'll friend you on Facebook and such. But let's stay in touch. And like I said, my door is always open to you to plug your latest work, and anything else you got going on. Let's get together, and I'll help you get the word out on that, and so you maybe even make some more.